Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing green patches, which in this particular case I sort of imagined as these really lush green patches. Well, in this particular case it's glowing green, it's not just lush green, along this mystical forest. Now, for some reason or another, I guess as you would if you come across something that is glowing green, Sleuth is very intrigued and studying it very carefully. Admittedly, I would be more thinking, check myself, am I anywhere near Chernobyl, for example, and walk away from anything that is glowing green, and shouldn't be. Now, this particular puzzle, I'm actually really looking forward to it. So it's a fusion, so we played something very similar to it not too long ago, and I'll be honest, I kind of messed up the solve a little bit. And this is about a fusion of German whispers and killer cages. So if you kind of remember it, and you thought it was a treat, you're in for a treat once again. 96% rating of green patches by Robinimus. I remember struggling with his name before as well. So really looking forward to it. Enough of the intro, let's just take a look at today's puzzle and rule sets. And fingers crossed I'll do it justice this time round. Rules wise, fairly straightforward. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, in every column, and then every 3x3 box. Now, I'm struggling a little bit to see the green cages, but they are there. Instead of the normal kind of darker black line cages, they're all in green to emphasize that this is not just a killer cage, it's a German whisper cage. So, within German whisper cages, the digits do not repeat. Good to know, although I think they're all in the same box. Well, I mean, that one isn't, so at least we know that these two cells that could have been the same, they are not. And sum to the total given in the top left corner. So far, not dissimilar to killer cages. So if you imagine that this cell is a 2, this would have to be an 8 to make sure that these two cells add up to 10. These 3 cells are 20, these 5 cells are 22, etc. What's also different here is the moreover part. Moreover, adjacent digits in the German whisper cage must differ by at least 5. So my 2 and 8 example here is perfect. 2 is clearly 5 or more away from the 8. So that is a valid set of pencil marks under the German whisper cage option. What I couldn't do, for example, is 4 and 6, because they are only 2 apart, not 5 or more apart. Now, the way to sort of think about this is adjacent digits. So in a way, it's almost like imagine that this is a invisible German whisper line inside this cage, kind of T-shaped or tilted T-shape. And essentially, these cells are going to be the same polarity, and these cells are going to be the same polarity because they need to differ from one another by 5 or more. So I think I've kind of labored the point. As always, if you want to enjoy green patches and play this particular puzzle, link will be in the description down below for you to do so. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. Right. Some of these cages, like the 20 cage, clearly can't be 4, 3, and 9, can they? No, that's 16. So essentially, a 3-cell cage, if I maximize these 2 digits and assume that the corner ones are the low one and the middle digit is the biggest I can go, a 9. That only gets me to 16. So I know that the 20 cage, the 19 cage, we'll look at others in a second, that these have to be high digits, this is the low digit, and same is true here. I'm using red for 6, 7, 8, 9, blue for 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I am fairly confident to get to 20 that this has to be 8, 9, and this would have to be a 3. You could make the argument that if I put a 4 in here, well, maybe I could get away with less, but obviously 4, to be 5 or more away, can only have a 9. I can't have a double 9. So this is already a 3. I need to get 17 with the remaining ones. That is 8, 9 pair. It tells me that this is a maximum of 2. Same logic, can't have 4, that would require a double 9. Can't have 3, it's in the same row. That is a maximum of 2. Which leaves me, I think, once again, with 17 to get to 19. So that is another 8, 9 pair. 22 cage, and then these 4 are going to add up to the remainder, which is not entirely forced. Let's think, what else do we have? I mean, 5 cells that add up to 22 is restrictive, just not very restrictive. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, which is the minimum I can use, is 15. There's a ton of degrees of freedom in here. Of course, they're killer cages. I kind of forgot about that. Right, so we've got 5 cell cages, 22, 23, 22, 22, 21 is the smallest. Let's think about that one. I guess it's the most amount of pressure, the closest that would have to be to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, intuition says, since I'm trying to keep this relatively small, is that these 3 cells are going to be the low ones, and then these are going to be the 2 high ones. If I don't do what I just said, well, these 3 are high, they're 6, 7, 8, I'm already at 21. So that is clearly not going to work. These are the low digits, these are the high digits, and that is definitely the case in terms of polarity. So these 2 cells, they both see neighbors, 2 neighbors, I should say, 1, 2, again, 1, 2. So they are from 7, 8, and 9. If I minimize this, I'm already at 15 with 7 and 8, and I'm left with 3 cells that need to get to 6, which is forced. 1, 2, 3, not a 2. This is indeed a 7, 8 pair. You can see that I can't put the 3 in the middle, otherwise that would have to both be 8 and 9, which doesn't work. So whichever one is the 3 has an 8 next to it. Then there is a 1 or 2, then there's a 1 or 2. So I don't think this is forced. I can do 3, 8, 1, 2, 7. Could also do 3, 8, 7, and either of them would be 1 or 2. Sorry about that. 21 cage was kind of forced with 1, 2, 3, and then 7, 8, essentially trying to minimize everything. I think the 22 cage, this one, is kind of the same, but it's a 7, 9 pair. So essentially, same logic. If I don't go with 3 cells in here being small, I'm at 6, 7, 8, I'm at 21, and then I'm left with 2 cells that have to add up to 1. That's impossible. Now, if I minimize these, I'm at 6, and then I'm left over with 16 to get to 22. So 7 absolutely has to be in one of these 2, which means that 1 and 2 will actually have to be surrounding the 7, including this corner cell. Now, I think no, it's not true. I was going to say if I go with a 3, then I have to have a 9. But obviously if I go with a 4, I have to have a 9, and then it's too big. Essentially, the 7, the 1, and 2 is 10, and then I'm left with 12. So it's 9, 3, 8, 4. 8, 4 doesn't work because the 4 can't be consecutive with the 8. So it is, in fact, another 3, and this is a 7, 9 pair. And there is a 1 or 2 in here. Clearly this is not the 3 because it will see the 7. Going well so far, but the thing is, like, aside from the 3 and 2 that I got early on, I don't have a ton of digits. Thing is, with German whisper lines, yeah, so this is the only one that's kind of interesting, is it? Sort of. It's a little bit different. But yes, they're no longer kind of the square bracket shape, but it's still, just reminder, it's still just basically a 5-cell German whisper line. So it still requires 3 low digits and 2 high digits. That part hasn't changed. These are going to be the low digits. These are going to be the high digits. The high digits always see 2 cells, so there can't be a 6. And same exact logic that we used in here, these are going to be 1, 2, 3, and these are going to be 7 and 9. Again, the one in the center that sees both cells can't be the 3. This is also not the 3. Finally, we've got some digits, 3, 7, some additional digits, 9, 1, which I think makes this 2, makes this 3, makes this 8, makes this 7. Excellent. Lovely. We end up with 1, 2, 3 triple in row 6. That's a 3. which forces this to be the 9. That is the 7. This is now a 1-2 pair. And I think that's all we can do for the moment. The 22 cage, kind of same logic again. Yes. Ooh, is it the same logic? So, look, I mean, again, this polarity, if I can actually do the right one. So low, I don't know whether it's low or high, but remember, it's oscillating between them back and forth. Purple, purple, and then orange. So if these were high, I'm at 6, 7, 8. I'm at 21. And then 2 cells to get to 1, it doesn't work. So the purple has to be the low digits. Now, again, if I minimize these with 1, 2, 3, bearing in mind these cells can't be 3, I end up being forced to have 8 and 9. Because the 3 essentially would be in here. Then I have 2 neighbors of the 3, which would have to be 8 and 9. So these are 20, and then this is 1 and 2. So I think I'm going somewhere wrong in this logic. Probably this 3 is in the wrong spot for the exact reason that I've just taken you through. Why did I force this to be a 3? Because I ended up with a 1, 2, 3 pair. Because this was a 3 and this was 8, 9. So this wasn't a 3. I can't fault the logic that got me here. Give me a moment, please, just to think this through. So 6 plus 16 is the only way I can get to 22. And if I do 1, 2, and 4, that's 7. But remember, the 4 will request a 9 next to it. The 1 and 2 will require a 7 always. You can't place a 6 in here. So if I swap the 1, 2, if I swap the 3 for a 4, I break it. I can't fault the logic. Can't have this be the 3, otherwise it would require 8, 9, which would be 17 plus 6, which is too big. We're at 23. 20 is fine. It was forced. Placing the 3 forced this slot. This is forced, where essentially I'm minimizing everything with 1, 2, and 3. The 3 in here moved the 3 out, and the 3 can't be in the middle for this 22 cage, otherwise again we're in trouble. So back to the same exact logic that this is, the digits do not repeat. So I'm not sure I see the problem so far. This is not a 1-9 cage in here, so we may as well just do this easy win. 2, 8, forces this to be a 1, forces this to be a 2, removes 2 from in here, places the 1 and 3. I mean, the 3 is still the problem, but I'm going to work my way to it. Essentially places a 1, 2 pair, a 3, and then 2 neighbors. And unless, like, there's a typo somewhere, 17 and 6 doesn't make 22. So what would I have to change if this was the 3? This would be a 1, 2 pair. Obviously this is no longer a 3, this is not the 1, 2 pair, there's a 3 in here. And that would have to be a 3 repeating it in the box, because it's not 1 or 2, and it is definitely a low digit. Can't be 4. Sorry, let me think that through. 4, oh, hang on, didn't mean to do that. 4, 9, 13 plus 10, yeah, 7, 1, 2. And 6, 7, 8, it's 21. And with 1 and 2, yeah, we still have 2 more digits that did not repeat. I'm suddenly very stuck. It's got to be like some very simple arithmetic mistake that I made somewhere. 15 and 6 is 21. 16 and 6 is 22. 16 and 6 is 22. 3 and 17 is 20. And 2 and 17 is 19. I'm gonna ignore the box 5 for a second. Always a good plan when you say, yeah, I'm just gonna ignore this for a bit and come back to it later. So let's go with it. 9, 3, 7. 2 gives me 1, 2. Let's just pretend we don't know what these are. Just pretend with me. And then try again the 22 cage up here. So I haven't really thought too much about the 22 cage. Of course I could put a 6 in here. That was the clue all along. 6 is possible now, and therefore I can put a 1 in here, and then I can put 2 and 4 in there, and then a 9. What would that be? 10, 12. Good news is I got there in the end. Bad news is it took me a very long time. Half my solution time is probably just revisiting everything I've just done. The 23 cage at least is straightforward, isn't it? That can't be 6, 7, 8. That is still 21. That would be another 3 on top of the 21. That would be 24. So this one is straightforward. I love the fact that it is all reasonably smooth and you kind of get going. You make a bad assumption, and Robinimus clearly designed this to, I don't want to say punish, but essentially what happened here. Punish people for kind of getting it wrong. Right. So, again, if I minimize everything, this is 1, 2, 3. That's a 6. Then I'm left with 17. So I have options. I don't have to do 1, 2, 3. It seems like I can do 1, 2, 4. Let's think about it a bit more. This cell is not 1 or 2. This is 3 or 4, which makes this 8 or 9. That is definitely a 9 because it's not an 8. Now, if I can't put 1, 2, and 4 in here because I've already used my 9, so a 4 in either of these would break everything, and then this is 7 or 8. So let's just do the maths now. Minimum of 10 plus the 19 plus the 9 to get to 19, that would have to be a 4. So if this is 7, what I'm trying to say is these two cells add up to 11. I should have done it that either way around, as in this is already 12. Then I need 11 to get to 23. And I have degrees of freedom this time. 8 and 3, 7 and 4. That don't seem to resolve necessarily. So I guess it's time to do some Sudoku. I've kind of put it off, frankly, long enough. And let's think around, what am I missing? Such as a very easy one in here. An easy one there. An easy one in here. And then a 1 X-wing with the rest that's in box 3. Right, that's not what I meant to type. I've got quite a few 2s actually already. The 2s you can see line up in rows 1 and 3, so that's the only place for a 2 in here in box 1. Then I'm left with a 2 X-wing, and I think the other 2s, well, hang on. I was going to say the other 2s are in here. There's only one of them. 3s. There's a 3 to corner pencil mark here. There's a 3 to just place straight up there with these Sudokus. There's a 3 up here. I'm not sure I can do much better. And then 3 on the corner, I mean not corner, but essentially this right-hand column of box 3. and then a ton of options in box 1, so I'm just going to ignore that. 9, and then 5, 6, well, 9, 8, and then 4, 5, 6, which are basically anywhere. Not helpful. 1, 2, 3, I need 4, 5, and 6 in here. Not hugely helpful, not a 6. So we have another 4, 5, 6, plus a 7, plus a 9. This is another 4, 5, it could also be a 9. This is getting messy very quickly. I'm not doing myself a favor by continuing these pencil marks. I'm going to hit the pause button on that for a second. 8's not here. Let's think about 8s. I mean, don't think about 8s, let's just place 8s. That's easier. 8s. Also 8s in here with the 1 pair. So this is a 1-8 pair. 8 you can see in box 9 has to be in one of these 2 cells, which makes this a 7, which will make this a 4. Gives me 2, gives me 4, gives me 2, gives me 1, gives me 8, gives me 1. Lovely. That was there ages. You know, be kind in the comments is all I'm going to say. We've got 7, 7, 4, and then 5 and 6 I'm going to say, which gives me 8 and 3. Is it 8 and 3? It looks like it. Looks like it. 8 in here gave me an 8, and therefore a 3, an 8, not a 3, an actual 3, and then 5 and 6, which we can resolve. 5, 7 pair, 7, 5, right. Yeah, I was definitely just like clearly on the wrong path earlier with what I was doing. So this is a much better conclusion for what I was, you know, I wouldn't say it was madness, but it was clearly not the right thing. I think we could just place a 9, so it's not in here. This is the only place for it. Right. I don't actually have an 8. I don't know why that was ever pencil marked. So these are just 4, 5, 6. And the 4s are in here. And I have another 5, 6, and an 8, which is not there. No, not an 8, a 7, which is not there. It's here. So this is 5 or 6. That's a 4, 5, 6 triple. That's an 8. That's not 8. That's got to be 5, 6 as well. Okay. So in here we need another 5, 6 plus something else. What is that something else? 4, I'm going to say. And in here is 5 or 6. In the row now, that's the only place for a 4. This is another 5, 6. Yeah, 5, 6 is going places. Yes, really going places. Another 5, 6 pair. Got a triple. That's the 3. 5, 6 pair in here. I need a 4 and a 7. Not resolved. We're kind of running out of places to unwind all of this. 6 and 7. 2 and 3. No. 3 and 4. That's the 3. That's the 4. That will probably, yes, unravel the whole thing for me now. 6, 7, 5, 6, 5, 4, 4, 6, 5, 6, 5, 6, 5, 6, 5, 6. Very satisfying. 5, and if I've not made any mistakes, 9 for the finish. I mean, to be fair, I did make a mistake. Any other mistakes is what I should have said. I really, really like this fusion of rules. It's different. I think it just, even though you're fusing 2 rules, and very familiar rules, I mean, you take a look at the playlist of German Whispers and Killer Cages, they're like north of a couple of hundred each now. So We've done a lot of them on this channel between these two. But somehow when you fuse them together, they both feel very fresh. Essentially, the killer cages are suddenly not as intuitive. You know, we tend not to go for middly cages like that, where, you know, averaging around 4, 5, 6. And the German whisper restriction is very different and pronounced as well. Love it. Hope that you guys enjoyed the puzzle anywhere near as much as I did. And see you back for the next video. Bye-bye for now.